Hey guys, August 1st and 2nd, Brendan Burns and I are bringing our comedy show to Birmingham and Manchester. Then August 3rd through the 28th, we're doing the Edinburgh Fringe Festival every single night. Bad wrestling and great jokes. All ticket information is at coltcabana.com. We hope to see you there. Come enjoy some live shows, but for now, enjoy this show.
This is The Art of Wrestling with professional wrestler Colt Cabana.
It's Colt Cabana.
All right, how you guys doing? Come on in, sit down, relax. You're about to listen to The Art of Wrestling, a professional wrestling podcast. It's a life podcast. It's a personal journal. It's an entry way into the minds and souls, the hearts and lives of the people involved in the world of professional wrestling. I am your host. My name is Colt Cabana. I'm a porn exhibitor. I don't want to say that too loud. I feel my neighbors can hear me outside in my apartment. I'm a trainer. I'm doing a little bit of training. I'm also a man involved in the podcast world. Most importantly, though, I am a professional wrestler, and I am sitting here live in my studio apartment in Chicago, Illinois. Before we go any further, this is a fan-supported and listener-supported podcast supported by people just like you. I give it to you free of charge every single Thursday on coltcabana.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts from. A couple great ways that you can support, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Tell a friend, tweet it out, Instagram it out, Snapchat it out. Go listen to the past archives on howl.fm. Use the code COLT. Get yourself a free extended trial. Best way you can support, though, coltmerch.com, digitalcolt.com. T-shirts, buttons, pictures, posters, DVDs, digital downloads, and much, much more. That's coltmerch.com, digitalcolt.com. Keeping the parodies alive if I can, but that's a mixture of stupid radio voice and Chicago and Grado's imitation of me through my own lips. That's what comes out. Ethan Page is on the show this week. I have a lot to talk about. You heard in the opening minute there, a lot was going on, including the porn exhibition. But we'll get all into that. I will get into that before I chat with Ethan Page. Fun to have Ethan Page on the show. Seems like we have a little bit of a Canadian theme going on. RJ City a couple of weeks ago. And now All Ego is on the show. And it isn't all ego. It's a solid ego on Ethan Page, deservedly so. I try to put him in check a little bit, but in a friendly way. In a friendly way, he's a friend of mine. My pleasure to have him on the show. And I know he really, really, really wanted to be on the show 6 or 7 years ago. And there's not a criteria, but in my head, it's go out. You'll be on the show one day. Don't worry. You're going to be really, really good in a couple years. Go out, get some experiences, experience pro wrestling, travel the roads, get your name out there, eat some shit for a while, and then, then come back and we'll have you on. And now we had him on. But even so, I feel, Ethan's a guy that in 4 or 5 years, he's going to be on the top of his game. And it's hard probably for him to hear that now. Because I'm sure he's no, I'm the man now. But the reality is he's one of these guys who give him some years, let him grow, and he's gonna be that guy. For now, he's in the mix. He's in the mix of kind of the higher independent standards of wrestling, and he's doing great, working with Evolve. And you'll hear his fun story of trying to dominate the independent wrestling scene from a basement somewhere in the outskirts of Toronto, Canada. All right. Let me make 2 quick shout outs, by the way. I love the podcast community I have here. I love the friends that I've made. I'm doing Edinburgh for a month. Super fun. Yeah. Rocket Ship made the theme music. They do it every single year. Brendan Burns and Colt Cabana. Shout out to them. Shout out to Jimmy Lee, who's made the poster for the show every year, too. An amazing graphic artist. I want to make a clarification in the chat that I have with Ethan Page. We talk, it's interesting that I went to the Erotic Expo at Rosemont Horizon this week because I think the chat with Ethan and I start out with a lot of porn talk. And in it, he talks about his love for Rachel Starr. I claim that I know Rachel Starr. I do not know Rachel Starr. I know Rachel Rocks with 3 X's. And I'm going to put that blame on Stu Stone. I know her through Stu Stone. I don't know how much I could talk about Stu's past involvement in that industry. He wasn't a porn star, but I don't know. I think he's an entrepreneur of some sort. So I've got some friends that are in the biz. Also through Nate, through Takedown Piracy. He's in that biz too. It's a big crossover appeal. So Rachel Rocks is the one that I know. And the Exotica Expo is the one that I went to with Marty, and we live tweeted it. And it was something else, something different. Very similar. I get it. very similar to the wrestling community and the same wrestling fans, but less sexual undertones and just sexual tones. Besides that, I wrestled in Baltimore. I wrestled in Summit, Illinois. I did the podcast movement. I was the speaker. I talked about that last week. I also did a training seminar in Kansas City. What do you want to talk about? We can talk about the podcast movement. I was the host of the Podcast Awards. Hopefully some of the people who were at the podcast movement are now listening to my podcast. Maybe I made some impressions. It was more, a conference. And if you're trying to get into the podcast industry, like if you really want to do it, like that's the place to be. There were so many people from like high profile podcasts talking about it, talking about how to get into it, talking about how to get advertising or what to do, how to get more listeners, blah, 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 blah. But it was a very conference feel, which I guess that's what it's supposed to be. And boy, do I not fit into that world. Like I heard somebody saying like, oh, I'm here to do some networking, and like sent shivers down my throat. And I'm, the more I think I'm an extrovert, the more I realize I'm an introvert, because I just go there and there's all these people shaking hands and schmoozing, and like I just want to hide in the corner. Like I want to do my thing. I like that you put me on stage, and I'll be as extroverted as possible. I'll put on a show. But once you're off, like I don't know, I see business people, suit people trying to make things happen, and it's just like I kind of not for me. And I don't know. There's got to be some kind of Myers-Briggs test that I could probably take, but I don't even want to know. Like I know who I am and what I like, and I know the characteristics and things that I like. And it's crazy because I love podcasting. I love talking about podcasting. Like I remember my dad being like, "You got to get on LinkedIn and network with people." Oh man, that sounds so 1950s. Or maybe 1970s. My dad, it's 1970s urban apparel industry talk, which I don't want anything to do with. Shout out to Jimmy Seafood in Baltimore. Went there with the Motor City Machine Guns and Frankie Kazarian. Johnny Crab Cakes hooked it up like he always does. If you're in Baltimore, go to Jimmy's Seafood. It's really, really, really good. And shout out to the Kansas City Training Center. Head trainer Trevor Murdoch over there. You don't hear about training seminars in that lower part of the Midwest or upper South or whatever it is. So pretty exciting. Trevor Murdoch is a guy you should want to learn from Harley Race himself, and is now passing it on over there. I had a fun seminar. Always nice to give back to the kiddies, right? All right. All in all, another fun week of professional wrestling. A lot of travel, a lot of getting at it. But that's what we do. All right, let's do a Song of the Week. Song of the Week this week is brought to you by Blue Apron, and they've been sending me these meals for the past couple of weeks, and oh man, I feel like a real adult. I sure do. Let's see, what did I make the other day? I think lean pork burgers. Great. They were great. Cilantro, garlic. They're giving me the amount to portion in there. I'm basically ready to go on a cooking show now. Like, put me on a reality show, and as long as I have the recipe card that they give me to learn how to make these things, I think I'm going to win. For less than $10 a meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients to make delicious home-cooked meals. They also have fresh and high-quality ingredients with food coming from artisanal suppliers, family-run farms, fisheries, and ranchers. Some of the meals this month include summer veggie pizza and spiced pork tacos with avocado and pickled onion. Right? That sounds great. I think it's perfect for like a family activity or maybe a sweet way to impress a date. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals for free, courtesy of me. Shipping will be free too. They'll take care of that. BlueApron.com/Colt. So don't wait. Get those 3 free meals. BlueApron.com/Colt. The song this week is by an English punk band called the Crash Mats. They have a new album called Now. That's what I call Crash Mats 69. It's available on iTunes and Amazon. Say hello to them on Twitter at the Crash Mats. The song is called Lessons Learned from the Royal Rumble 1992. Enjoy. We'll be back with Ethan Page.
Paid for by the following.
Song of the Week this week is also brought to you by HelixSleep.com. Hey, listen, you're different. I'm different. We're all different. So why do we all have to sleep on the same old mattress? That's a great question. And you know it's a great question. Usually, if you want a customized mattress, it's costing anywhere from $5 to $10,000. HelixSleep.com is changing that. Just head on over to the website. You answer simple questions based on 4 key preferences. They do the sleep math that they're known for, and boom, the most comfortable mattress you've ever slept on. It'll be on your doorstep in a week. They're going to pick up the shipping, by the way. That's right, free shipping. Helix customers are reporting 30% improvement in overall sleep quality. My sleep quality is already pretty great. I couldn't even imagine how great 30% more would be. Try it for 100 nights, and if you don't love it, they'll pick it up for free, and you'll get a 100% refund, no questions asked. GQ's putting them over. Forbes is putting them over. Now maybe you should put them over too. Go to helixsleep.com/Colt. Get $50 off your first order. $50 off. helixsleep.com/Colt.
It's Colt Cabana.
I've never listened to your show. Should I be?
No.
No.
I mean, if you don't, we try and avoid talking about wrestling.
It has to turn to wrestling, though.
It's getting
It
to
has
that point.
to.
It's really getting to that point.
Why would you just... Because there's too many wrestling podcasts.
Yes. I'm trying to be original, but now it's just, it's a mess.
A guy asked me the other day on a podcast, just like, he's like, what does it take to be to have a good podcast? My answer was like, you have to be like an expert at something. You have to know something.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just have a podcast and be like, on a podcast. You have to like be good. You have to have a clear view of what you know and what you want, and then you spread it to the world. And then that's like, you have a message and you want to get it out there.
Yeah.
So your messages can only be, what else do you know about wrestling?
I'm super meticulous and I overthink everything.
Okay.
So for me, it was who's winning the podcast game in wrestling? And it's you and other guys like Steve Austin. So I am not going to compare to that. So I was like, okay, let's do something else. Let's just do an immature podcast with three best friends and make each other laugh.
See, you know about the world of wrestling. Do you know about the world of podcasts?
No.
Because that's all it is.
Oh, okay.
You're fighting an uphill battle.
Drop the ball on that one.
Yeah,
then.
that's all podcast
Okay.
is three white dudes around a table, like talking about current events or
All right,
bullshit
damn.
or nothing. Yeah.
Well, I'm canceling the show.
Have you guys been going strong?
Yeah, we've been like, one thing that we tried to do is be steady. So like once a week, it'll be up. So
Do you all get together and do it? Or
yeah, and like we don't live near each other at all.
See, that's gonna get.
Yeah.
Can you keep that up?
Yeah, because what we'll try to do, which is also hard to keep current.
Who's on it? Josh is on
Yeah,
it.
Josh Alexander, and he quit wrestling, but he used to wrestle as Joey Kings.
Josh Alexander did quit wrestling and did not used to wrestle as Joey Kings.
No, that's another guy.
Oh,
Yeah, so there's three of us.
So just your buddy, and
Yeah.
that's your concept of like, oh, well, he's not in wrestling, so we're kind of not all wrestling podcast.
But he's the one that's like, yeah, I'll talk about wrestling. Yeah.
Of course he will, because he
course.
doesn't deal with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like Josh lives an hour from me, and then we both live in a city called Hamilton from him. So to meet up is atrocious sometimes. So we'll record 2 or 3 podcasts, but then you can slowly notice like maybe podcast 3, we're like just trying to get it out.
You're out of energy.
Yeah, which is tough. Like you need to be entertaining, high energy the whole time, captivate people. So yeah,
Have you learned anything from it so far?
it's exhausting and like tiresome to try and continue to have like content. Like we have a segment on the show.
Do you know my pains now?
Oh yes, yeah. Well,
6 years later.
we put ourselves in a bad spot. Like one of our segments called Dinner for Schmucks, where you can invite 4 guests to dinner and they're allowed to bring a date, and then it's all per topic. So like it'll be like favorite porn star. So we're allowed to bring 4 porn stars to dinner. We'll go around in a circle, talk about why we would invite the person, or like we did one. It's like people that never won the world title. So then we'll go through that, and now we're like, what are we going to do for this segment? Yeah.
Who's your favorite porn star?
Rachel Starr.
I know Rachel Starr
Like personally?
personally. You can go on YouTube and see.
Shut the front door.
No, she's a Facebook friend of mine.
No way.
Yes.
Come on, Colt.
She friend of Stu Stone. And then I did he used to have a live YouTube show, and it was like I wrestled in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and then I went on his show. He did it Sunday nights.
Okay.
And then like in comes these 3 babes, half naked. It's on YouTube somewhere, and it's just like me, Rachel Starr, some other people, and then like I was talking with. I didn't have sex with Rachel Starr. But I would have liked to probably. Like I'm happy to sit here. Not happy to sit here. I'm sad to sit here and say that. But I know her like.
Damn.
So I don't like to brag, but
Dude.
but
She consumed my entire teenage years.
yeah,
Like that was my go-to.
I didn't know who she was until
Hey, man.
I don't know any of the names.
I'm like that too. Like Josh is like a Rolodex. So like when we come to those topics, he's like king shit of porn.
He's got him.
Yeah, oh, he knows.
I just be like the hot Asian one or the hot Puerto Rican girl with
like
the mid-sized boobs.
Yeah,
That's
what
all
are
I
you
know.
into today? Oh, like cop porn. Like, you know, people walk in, catch you having sex. Like, that's my thing this week. No. Me, it's like, I'm like an outsider for wrestling. You're like, oh, do you know wrestling? No, I just know The Rock. Okay, well, I just know Rachel Starr. She's like,
Gotcha.
top tier.
Oh, she's a big deal.
Hell
Maybe
yeah.
she is. I don't know. Do you? Is your wife okay with all of this porn talk?
Yeah, like she listened to one episode. She's like, yeah, I can't really listen to this. I'm like, hey, we're just trying to like entertain people. It's like a true story. I gave up porn. Can't do it.
You did.
Yeah. Though I can only do pictures now. I'm a weirdo, man. I know. Can't do it. I just feel gross.
Well, that's not.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get into the psyche of it, I guess if you break it, like you feel disrespectful to your wife, or you disrespectful to women, or
I don't know. I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, something's wrong here. And like, since I stopped, my sex life with my wife is awesome.
okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Did you live a debaucherous wrestling lifestyle before your wife?
Not wrestling lifestyle. I was like the guy that slept with his entire high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was
that
like
doesn't surprise me.
a devious young man.
When did you lose your virginity?
When I was 15.
Okay, that's
She was 18.
Senior or out of high school?
She was from a different school.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you got into wrestling,
Yeah.
because I mean, and maybe you can help describe what the wrestling, right? Like, I mean, it's just everyone loves wrestling, but also
Yeah.
everyone loves to be probably try to have sex with people, and this includes women to guys.
Yeah.
This isn't just like a sexist,
No.
chauvinist thing. Chicks are trying, and
But
chicks.
that's your social circle too.
Yeah,
So-
and dare I say, girls get such a bad rap for having sex with dudes, whereas
Yeah.
dudes, like, that's how the world works.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, good for that girl.
Yup,
go
for
get
sure.
go
Hey,
get
if
that.
you want
dick.
it,
yeah,
get
yeah. And it's so available.
Yup.
In this place. So when
Yup.
you got in wrestling, to you, was it a little different, or was it a little?
See, for me, like as much as people will watch me perform and not believe it, I take wrestling very serious. So any female wrestlers that I've hooked up with is very private.
You want them to be the best wrestlers possibly?
No, I don't want anyone to know because I don't want to be taken. Like, not that it's unprofessional. People can kind of have relationships in the workplace anywhere, but I just don't want it to get around or anyone to know. It's like my personal thing.
And I didn't necessarily mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm probably the same way, but I almost meant just almost that lifestyle of the boys. Like, we're on the road, we're trying to do this, we're trying to get the girls, blah blah blah. And when you saw that compared to what you were doing in high school,
Oh, yeah.
were you like, I love this more, or like, were you surprised by it, or did it make sense?
I wasn't really surprised by it just because that's how I was growing up.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you just fit right in.
I
It was
like,
meant to be.
Cool. Yeah.
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a fun story, right? I think it's hilarious.
Okay, what story is this?
No, just getting into wrestling.
Oh, okay.
And it's one of these where, God. So I did a lot, like I did some backyard wrestling, and I
Yep.
did probably some even weirder shit. And when I was very young in wrestling, I was always very protective of that, and I would like never admit to it. But you get to a point in your career where you're like good enough where you can then go back and like laugh about it.
Oh, yeah.
A great example for me is that WrestleMania 13 bit with Hawk. Have you seen? I called
Yeah.
it a bit where I'm
Yeah.
punching. Right.
Yeah.
That didn't get out for years, and then finally, when I was secure enough with myself and my career,
Yeah.
I was like, I mentioned on a bunch of things, and then people start putting on YouTube, and now it's it's
Yeah.
on YouTube. Colt Cabana beats up Hawk, and I think it's funny.
Yeah.
But when you're first couple of years, like, you don't want to tell anybody.
I hope no one sees this. I don't want them to think I'm like a fan.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you didn't give a fuck.
Dude, complete opposite.
Yeah, you were
like
just
complete. Like I just wrestled Billy Gunn last weekend, and I was straight up like, "Bro, you're in my top 5." I don't care. Like,
But you're in a place now. See, I'm talking about more when you started. I think you're in a place now where you can say,
okay, true.
you can just throw it out there.
Yeah.
I would like to think. Have you ever met Billy Gunn before that?
No.
You'd never. Well, then maybe you don't throw that out there. But you still did.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know why people shy away from just admitting that they're fans of wrestling. Why would you be doing it in the first place on our level?
Well, I could tell you why.
Why?
So, because I think in a locker room there's like, and unless you had like that locker room is that like camaraderie. We're all
Sure.
friends.
Okay.
Like we're taking not that, and I'm on a completely way separate level than Billy Gunn, but you know. The questions and the hey, how do you make it? How do you make it in this business? How do you it's great at one point, and sometimes it's just like let's turn this off and talk about being immature assholes for a second.
Right.
So
right.
once you're like, if I meet someone and like I'm hitting off with you and I've never met you before, and then all of a sudden you're like you're my favorite, blah blah blah. Then there's like that block.
Yeah, being overbearing about it is different and awkward. That for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that can be awkward, but it's not. I don't think it's wrong to pay a compliment. Like, and I found this so awkward for me because I don't think of myself in that way at all. But a guy stopped me before I was leaving a show. He's like, "Dude, it's an honor to be on a show with you." And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like that's to me. I'm still trying to like, elevate myself on the independence. And to this guy,
You still have people that you would probably say that to.
exactly
Right.
And this guy's saying it to me, and I was like, "That's really cool." And I could only imagine the feeling he had, like, oh, man, I just want to say this to him, but like it's and that's like stressful.
Yes.
For him. I was like, super cool. I can't believe he did that.
Yes.
Nice guy. So I was like,
And it's
screw it.
your job then to like, because I know what you're saying, and I've done that before, to be like, great, thank you so much.
Exactly.
Great job that you went up and you probably had that insecurity.
Exactly.
Great, hey, and then you make them feel comfortable. Then you over make them feel. This is what I do. I'll over make them feel comfortable, and then I'm talking to them too long, where they're like, all right, Colt,
Yeah.
gotta go.
I get it.
Gotta go. This is weird now. I just want to say I like you. Yeah. But so when you started, I mean, we had this whole discussion. You told me the story. I thought it was so crazy of just like you thought you were the man. You knew what you're doing, and not to put this on a podcast. And I'm sure you've probably talked about this. I don't know if you've talked about like this kind of stuff, your beginning stuff.
Yeah.
Like where you can talk about it now because you're established.
I think it's hilarious.
Yes. So I'd like to dig into that.
Sure.
Yeah. So grew up in Canada.
Yeah.
Outside of Toronto,
Yeah. Hamilton, Ontario.
I could tell right away, which is interesting that you say you were a dude that had sex with girls, because most wrestlers, including myself, like never had sex in high school or anything, or like didn't know how. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So now
we're kind of nerdy dudes,
Right. And that's who I go to school with, like go to this wrestling school with, is all guys like that. So I'm like banging girls like crazy. So I think I'm king shit at this
Gotcha.
wrestling school.
But as a kid, you were a huge wrestling fan.
Yes and no. So like
In my head, I see you with rock pictures like all over your.
well, you stayed at my house, so
Maybe that's why.
yeah, you've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
But that's as a grown man. Actually, Brian Myers stayed at my house one time, and he's like, "I'm so tempted to take a photo of your rock shrine and send it to him." And I was like, "Please don't do that. That'd be so embarrassing."
You'd be embarrassed.
Man, that's like that's God to me. Like
And
if
you-
someone wrote a Bible and like The Rock was in it, like I would be like, all right, I'll join your religion. And I don't believe in religion at all. Dude, he's the man.
You're just cod all day. Are you eating cod all day?
No. I could never do that. That guy's too jacked out of his mind.
Right.
But so as a fan, as a kid, I watched it with my father, but this was like Hulk Hogan, Macho Man era. And then I really got out of wrestling as I was growing up. I don't know.
Got into girls.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I joined, I moved schools, and there was a backyard wrestling league, Extreme Backyard Wrestling, and I was like,
EB Dub.
this is awesome.
I've heard of
I
it.
need to do this. Oh, you have?
Yeah.
YouTube, eh? I was like, I need to do this. And then I just got obsessed with it.
So what spikes your? That's super. Like for me, I feel a lot of people my age. It was like I kind of started to get out of it, but I still loved it. And then like ECW, and I was like, wrestling rules. But this was just dudes in the backyard.
Yeah.
Playing.
It wasn't the fact that it was wrestling. It was the fact that I was performing in front of people. And I'm really into the creative part of wrestling. Like I said, like I overthink everything. So I'm the one that's like, dude, your storylines in your backyard wrestling don't make any sense. If this guy hates this guy, this needs to happen here, blah, blah, blah. And then I start taking over, and now I'm promoting these backyard events, and people started quitting because they're like, oh man, he cares too much.
You're that guy.
This used to be fun. He's trying to turn it into a business. And I was like, hey man, just trying to make the show better.
You're that guy. Okay, we all know that guy.
Yeah.
You weren't in theater or plays.
Of course, yeah. I played Danny Zuko in Grease.
Okay.
I played the dentist in Little Shop of Horrors, and Willard in Footloose, and played football.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm a black belt in Taekwondo and karate. So like all those aspects wrapped into one end up being a pro wrestler.
Yeah, in wrestling, are you trying to find? Do you see yourself like trying to? Are you someone who sees something else and goes like, "Ooh, I should do that also"? While wrestling, because it seems like you put not all the eggs in this one basket, but you're just a pro wrestler guy now.
Yeah. I
Like you don't see yourself.
There's nothing else in the world that I think I could get as much satisfaction, or I don't want to say instant gratification because it's like seems like I'm like seeking glory, but like the fans and like performing in front of a live audience, you have that live reaction and the thought process of like, I don't know, planning a match or having a storyline go through an entire year. That's like, as cheesy it is, like that's art to me, and I love being like involved in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as a guy who's been in the plays and has done everything.
Yeah.
This is like you found it. This is
it. This is all of it into one thing that I can do at once. Like, because I tried stand up too, and then some dude was like, "Hey man, you could do this, but like you got hit the road." And I'm like, I've been wrestling for 7 years. I don't want to start all over again and do something completely different.
Which is another. Not that like. That might be. I'm trying to think of the right word. Like a hurdle of like you might have to do that.
Yeah. Oh, for
like when I
sure.
started podcasting, I was like, "Fuck, I gotta like." I've done this for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like now it's 6 years later. Like there's going to be something where you have to start. You have to start again.
Exactly.
I get the idea of not wanting to.
And
do
I think that was the moment where I was like, okay, well, I've already invested all this time into this, and I think maybe it was 6 or 7 years. I was like, I got to start traveling in wrestling. Like I've been doing this so long. Like how am I not so much far ahead? I was like, I can't start something new.
Right.
And I was like, all right, man, just go all in. And
then you
that was
double
it.
down, double down.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll get into that. So, backyard wrestling, you're rocking and rolling,
Rocking and rolling, taking over.
taking over. You're the champion, the booker,
Heck yeah.
the announcer.
I'm pissing everybody off.
What's your wrestling name?
Then it was Physique.
FIZ.
It was PH.
Okay.
But there was a Z in there.
Okay.
Yeah. And my catchphrase was, "This is my good side," and I would show my left side, people's eyebrow, and then I would change my face and point to my right side and say, "This is my good side too."
Oh, you know what I thought it was? I thought you said this is my great side.
Okay, that would have been
Which
better.
is pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You can use that if you want. It still holds up, I think.
Yeah, it's actually this. I don't know why this reminded me of this, but when I was doing the backyard stuff, MSN Messenger was like a huge thing. And like the reason I am how I am with like my fans, you have a lot to do with that.
I do. I
Yeah.
wasn't on MS. I was an AIM guy.
Okay, there was some kind of messenger, had your email, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on, Colt
To
Cabana?"
me.
Yeah. And you were like, "Not much, man." I was like, "Oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever."
No shit.
And that was before Twitter,
What year was that, do you think?
in the 2000s.
It might have been MSN. I was on there for a second. I went to England, and everybody on England was on MSN.
Yeah.
So it was either MSN or AIM. So just the idea that I responded to you.
Yeah, it was
which is
like-
weird because you know what? Like I had like DDP once responded to me on AIM, and I don't even know if it was him, but I assume it's him.
Yep.
And a wrestler named Haystack Ross, who was just a local Chicago wrestler, once responded to me.
Yep.
I'm like, you don't forget that.
No, you don't. And like, and that like, people ask me all the time, like on Twitter, I'm all like, it doesn't matter what a fan asks me, I will reply, and it's because of that. Because I'm like, this is like an instant thing. Like people send you a personal question, I have the ability to reply to them. To them, that might be the biggest thing. Because to me, I was like, dude, I just watched you and CM Punk wrestle at IB Mid-South that I downloaded on the mvzone.com music video. I'm like, this guy replied to me. I'm like, this is the craziest. What a cool guy.
You weren't like, this guy has, why isn't he on
Nope.
the road?
Nope.
Why does he have enough time?
No. And I was like, I don't know what he's doing right now, but he took the time to even just say, "Not much, man. How are you?" And
All
I was
right.
like, damn. And that was it.
Glad I hold up.
Yeah.
Glad I hold
Thanks, man.
Okay, and then when do you take that step from backyard wrestling to professional
The
wrestling?
guy I was backyard wrestling with joined a school, and I was like, "Hey man, can you just train me at your house so I don't have to pay?" And he's like, "No, you have to join. I'm paying." I was like, "Okay."
Sorry, do you come from a family of money or?
Yes.
You do come from family of money.
Yeah.
But you just didn't want to pay.
But I'm a very thrifty person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, would you independent or?
Very.
Okay.
I never wanted for anything in my life, but the way my dad raised me, he was very much so like, if you want something, you go get it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I run a wrestling show. Like I was pushed into, like fend for yourself, be creative, find different ways to make money, and just try to do things because the way he was raised, like he had a lot of opportunities to do cool things, and his parents were like, no, get a job. No, get a job. No, get a job. Like he could have played football professionally, got invited to a camp, and his dad was like, no, you can't make money at that. You're going to go work at a factory. So when I'm growing up and I'm like, I'm going to go be a Taekwondo specialist, he's like, done. And he got me trained and tried out for the Olympics. And then I was like, I'm going to be a professional wrestler. And he's like, okay, if you're going to do it.
Tell me the
do
Olympic
it.
story.
Yeah, so I made it onto Team Canada for the Taekwondo Olympics, yeah. And at the same time, so like my dad pushed martial arts on me my whole life because he loved it. And I was like, I want to be a wrestler. And this was the first thing he ever said no to in my entire life. So I was like, all right, I quit Taekwondo.
To spite him, or
Yeah.
do you think you were Olympic ready?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Come on.
I was awesome. Yeah. Well, I did martial arts since I was 4 years old up until I was 16. And when I was 16 years old is when I was going to do the Olympics for Taekwondo. And then I was like, no, I quit. I'm going to be a wrestler. You tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it.
Do you regret that?
I do in a sense that maybe I would have a job in WWE if I won a gold medal in the Olympics.
Right.
But I don't at all because, and like I'll get to that too, because you were asking me how I got into wrestling. I pretty much quit wrestling school and self-trained myself. Like I might be more successful if I took the right path. But I think all of that stuff led me to where I am now, and I couldn't be happier. So
What do you mean? You said you get back to the quitting, regretting the judo or taekwondo. Sorry.
yeah, like I think if I didn't quit, I probably would have done well, and then that might have transpired into something else. But
And
I
not
might,
quitting at wrestling school. Also,
I
you
might,
mean, or like?
yeah, I might not have even become a wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you meet any famous judo guys? Did you want to be like the next man?
I took a seminar with the guy who played Scorpion in Mortal Kombat.
I know that. No, I know
Chris Casamassis?
No, I know Raiden.
Oh,
Raiden?
Raiden?
Raiden.
Yeah. Which
does-
one? There was two in Mortal Kombat 1 and
The
Mortal
original
Kombat 2.
one, because he does motion capture work. I did motion capture work on WWE Immortals.
Oh, that game was fun.
And that was done by the Mortal Kombat guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And he works at the Mortal Kombat studios, and he's like the main guy.
Damn, he
was
stayed in.
19 when he was like Raiden.
yeah.
And then and then he like learned. He realized it was so much like wrestling, because he realized that like, you can't just be Kung Fu Raiden forever. Like
No.
you're gonna get old, and you
Yeah.
need to learn a job and a skill.
Yeah.
And so he like learned the business side of it,
That's
and he
awesome.
works there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, so quit judo. I keep on wanting to say judo.
Taekwondo, yeah,
Taekwondo. Is it the same thing or no?
No.
Not at all.
No. Judo is like mixed martial arts grappling.
Judo's throws. I thought.
Yeah. And Taekwondo is more kicks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're not much of a kicker.
No, like,
A side kicker.
Yeah.
You're a front kicker. I
yeah,
think.
I'll throw a front kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a Trish Stratus head kick.
Okay. Is that where you put your hands on the bottom rope and do a?
No, the chick kick. That was like her big move. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah, well, I'm just not a Japanese wrestling fan, so I'm like, I'm not going to do like a Kenta kick. Do
That's
Trish
what I mean. Like
Stratus
those
kick.
side kicks. Okay.
Yeah.
fair enough. You don't have to be a Japanese wrestling fan to be an Olympic. If you're an Olympic fucking Taekwondo
See,
master.
I'm not like I don't like telling
Olympic caliber.
I don't like telling people just because I'm not in that field anymore. I've probably lost all of the skill.
Right.
Yeah, like
You
I
don't want it
can't-
to be part of your shtick.
No, I don't
Yeah.
want people to think of tough guy, but that's not me at all. I'm like the most unconfrontational person ever. So yeah,
So you join a wrestling school.
kind of yeah. So I went to this school for about a month and a half, and then I was like, well, I'm good enough. I don't need to do this anymore, and then I quit.
Okay. Your friend joins.
Yep.
Says you said I don't want to go train me.
Yeah,
He says I can't do that.
Yeah.
Is that right?
yeah.
And then you're like, fine.
Yeah, I guess I'll go. So I signed up. And this was like while I was spiting my father for the martial arts.
How much spite? Like he hated your guts? Did you talk?
Yo, we talked. Yeah, I had a great upbringing.
Okay.
But it was the first thing in my life where he was like, no, you can't do that. And I was like, okay. So then since that point, it's been like a proving them wrong process. Right.
Which can drive you. Everyone needs their thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they became very motivated and like to help me and very like supportive, which is
Your parents did?
yeah.
Like, stop, Dad. I need you to hate
Yeah, go
this
back to hating this.
so I can prove you wrong.
Well, once they actually found out that like it became like a passion and I fell in love with it, they were obviously supportive of
Okay.
it. Yeah. But yeah, so I joined the school in a month and a half. I was like, okay, I'm too good. I don't need to be here anymore.
Yeah, so take me through that a little bit. So do you say who trains you, or do you not even want to?
No one would even know who
No,
he is.
so some local dudes.
Yep.
And what town is it again?
Hamilton.
Hamilton, Ontario,
in
Canada.
a garage.
Are you like? Do you see like Edge and Christian? Are these like the local heroes that like everyone's like, you can be the next this guy? You can
No, there was none of that.
none of that.
There was one aspiration for every local wrestler at the time, and that was to wrestle for UWA Hardcore in Mississauga.
Which I
like that
wrestled
was
for.
You did.
Yes.
That was the be all end all of if you wrestled there, you made it. Like that was there. And then once I was like, that's not it. Like there's more to that.
Okay.
And then Michael Elgin was traveling to IWA Mid South. So I thought I was a smart wrestling fan, and I was like, you guys think there's only this place in Toronto, but like all this wrestling's happening all over North America, and this guy that lives not far from us is going every month. So he was like, you're not terrible, so if you want to come with me, or he wanted my gas money. Either way, I went to Chicago, and then
But at that point, you had quit, or at that point you had
the school.
Yeah.
I just stopped going.
So
Yeah.
a month and a half.
About that, yeah.
Had you when did you have a match?
About like right around then.
So your first match.
Yeah.
And then you're done with it.
Yeah.
And then
Just started traveling.
But so you did you train with Elgin? Like, how do you hook up with him? Do you bug him?
He like
do you
would-
MSN him?
He would wrestle in the events because this place was like a hub
How do you
for
keep
wrestling.
getting booked?
So I used to go as a fan and hold a camera, and I would just say funny things on the camera, and people thought I was entertaining. So then they were like, "Yo, do you want to be a backstage interviewer?" And I was like, "Sure, I'd love to do that."
Before you got start training?
Yeah.
All right.
So then,
So you're in the scene a little. already.
I'm like in the scene ish.
Okay.
And then they're like, "Oh, do you want to commentate? Do you want to do backstage this and that?" And then I was better at hosting the promos than the guys were cutting them. So then they were like, "You should be a wrestler." I was like, "Okay, sure." Like I'm backyard wrestling. I'm great at that. I guess I'll just become a star.
You wanted to be a wrestler.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. But like at that time, you're so timid with all these larger than life people.
Are you?
Yeah.
You are.
At the start, yeah.
Okay.
But once they opened that door, I was just like, oh, hello, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so then he starts traveling with you.
Yeah.
I guess learning on the job. I would say learning on the job. It's not like you're wrestling 6 days a week.
No. Just on the weekends.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a long, long process.
That's like, I've been wrestling for 10 years, and I'm just now like reaching a mild amount of success.
Right. And so it's 7 years in, like you said, and you were like, I want to travel.
Yeah.
That's why it took
Yeah.
7
Yeah.
years.
Because, like, I don't know, I went through the same stuff you'll hear from so many people, like, oh, I got in a relationship and she didn't like wrestling, so then I kind of slowed down and then crap like that. And then I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Or I just wasted all of that time.
When did you ever get a wake up call? Or because like, and like, I don't want to say like you're very, the gimmick is ego, all ego.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have a very high self-esteem, which is not a bad thing in wrestling. So, like, did you just think you were nailing it all? Like, let's say those first 7 years, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm just doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there like a wake up call? Or, because you did kind of say that, like, I realized I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, like there was.
Or you're just like, it's everybody else's fault but mine, which I've had before. Something I've said probably privately to myself is like, it's why doesn't everybody get it kind of thing.
I just think I thought I was trying, but really I wasn't. So like for me, I'm like, what the hell's going on? How am I not getting booked by all of these places? Like, don't they know who I am? But like really, if you're in Canada, nobody knows who you are.
Yeah. What do you see looking back?
A blur. Like honestly, it's a blur.
Looking back, what did you see you were kind of doing wrong? If you could say to yourself 3 years, 2 years in.
I kept starting and stopping. Like I would do a diet, I would lose weight for whatever, let's say 4 months, and I would travel a lot. And then I would not get what I wanted instantly, so I would stop. And then I would start again, and then I would stop. So it was never, I'm just going to do this full time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And because what else were you doing at the time?
Honestly, I was in college or dating girls. I was still in that phase too. So
it didn't 100% consume your life.
no. Yeah.
Right.
No.
And would you say now you're all in, but you're kind of married? You have other stuff plucking around?
Yeah, like I have a wife and 2 dogs, and life's great. But like, this is for me my job. Like my wife says, this is my job too. So when she introduces me to people, this is my husband. He's a professional wrestler. So that's it. That's what I am now. So I'm fully. That's it.
You were running, so you ran a promotion, and I mean, I wrestled for you, 2011 maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, and so at that point, how long you'd been in wrestling?
Been in wrestling?
Yeah, 5
since
years, 4 years?
2006. So yeah, 5 years.
Okay, and you'd been running that promotion.
That was our first year.
That was your first year.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think it's so not almost like where do you get the balls, or like why are you like at 5 years in? Because do you look at that and be like, maybe I shouldn't have ran a promotion 5 years in, or do you look at it and be like, yeah, of course, like we're still growing. I love this.
I think that me running the promotion probably hindered my speed process of like breaking out in America.
Growing as a regular wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. Because like it's a lot of work and stress and issues that you have to deal with while trying to carry your own pro wrestling career. And then we ended up stopping running shows for a bit. And then that's when I hooked up with AIW in Cleveland. And then after that, I was like, okay, now I've got my feet firmly planted in America. Then I'll bring the company back. And then now I do both, no problem.
What makes a wrestler want to run a wrestling promotion? Because it's something that I have never wanted to do.
For me, there was a bad stigma of our style of professional wrestling in Canada. So we were still like local show, hillbilly town pro wrestling. So no high spots, no fun, no flips.
No fun
nothing.
for some people.
Yeah, no fun for some people.
That
yeah.
old vet who rather work the arm for an hour.
And we were covered with those guys. And then there was myself, Josh Alexander, who was a workhorse, and like a bunch of local guys that were just like, no, man, like we're watching all this stuff from America. We want to do this here.
And that's how PWG was made, was those 6 guys were, originally it was the PWG 6. They were just tired of all those dudes who were just like.
And we completely ripped them off. Like our website was the exact same as theirs when we started.
Yeah.
It was me and a couple local guys that were like, we like this style. And I was like, well, I want to promote North American indie wrestling in my hometown because I'm embarrassed at this bar show that I'm wrestling guys that are terrible, that I thought were terrible at least. So I brought guys in from the States. Like we had our first show, the main event, I think was Player Dose and Luke Harper. And I was like, okay, here's a match that you're never going to see in our area because UWA Hardcore closed down. So no one was offering that to fans.
So essentially there was a gap once those guys.
Yeah.
And you thought like.
I'll fill it.
You'll fill. But you're like, I'm the only one. I guess that's the same mentality as when you were a kid when you took over the backyard promotion, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
It's a lot of work.
It seems like so much work.
Yeah. And I was 19 years old when I started the company. And like, since I've been running shows this 6
So
years.
you were training when you were 14?
16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that math work out?
Yeah, I started in 2006. I was 16 years old, and then our first wrestling show we ran was in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were 19 going on 20 then?
Yeah.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
And like since I've been running shows, like 19 years old till now, I'm 26. Everyone that's ever wrestled for me has been paid. We've always put on professional shows. 4:00 the show starts every single time. Like I'm like real anal about everything.
Yeah, I don't doubt that part. And I see as a wrestler, you can appreciate that.
Right.
Because you go on other shows and you know what you like and so you have that experience to bring that to your own thing.
Yeah.
It's just the idea of having to put that extra hassle it can't be for the money, I don't think.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
It's creatively so exhilarating.
So
to
you
me.
like the creative aspect of it.
Man.
And then the other thing I was going to say is that you were also a guy who was editing videos, doing all this other stuff.
I still to this day do everything.
And I'm intrigued by that because I want to know, is that still that same part of the brain? Are you self-taught on all that stuff?
Oh yeah. Like I went to school for television broadcasting, but it was all how cameras work.
Okay.
And I took one course, which was like 4 weeks long, on video editing. And I was like, this is the greatest thing of all time. I'm going to abuse this as much as I can for professional wrestling. And I have, for sure.
And do you do like graphic stuff and all?
Yep.
Like photo?
All our posters, our website.
Is that because, and you're a generation behind me, you're 10 years younger than me.
Yep.
Is that because, I don't want to say like the kids, but like it's more like a computer generation that you were like, there's these kids now.
Yeah.
I don't want to see these kids now, but like, they're doing it all at 11 years old because they're just sitting on the computer
man,
and they're rocking it and they're nailing it.
I got like a younger cousin who's like maybe 10 years younger than me. He could design an entire website in 30 minutes
Right.
and I'm like, how the hell do you do that? This took me 3 hours.
Were you a product of that?
Yes and no. For me, it was wrestling that brought me into it because I used to love this website called the MV Zone where people would upload music videos of Ring of Honor and stuff like that I couldn't find anywhere else. So then I joined because I was like, if I'm into something, I need to do it.
I think I remember they used to have contests, right?
Yeah, they used to have tournaments and contests, and I was like, I need to throw my name in the hat and be a video editor. So I downloaded the free program on Windows, Movie Maker, and I started making videos. And then since that, I haven't stopped, and that was before I even started wrestling, so like 2008. Yeah.
Knowing to get into wrestling, yeah, you're very. Your mind is always it's always churning. It's interesting. Are you ever going to be satisfied with anything? Do you
Never,
think?
no, never.
That's
Never in my
what I
life.
can tell. Yeah,
That's like my biggest, like, I don't want to say depression because it's an overused term in 2016.
Do you go to a therapist?
No.
Do you but there's always your mind's always churning. I feel.
Yeah.
Like, have you thought so? Knowing that you'll never be satisfied with anything, how do you go through life?
I don't know.
You're just trying to reach it.
Yeah, like there's always that one thing, like I'll reach a goal and I'll be like, oh, that's awesome. And then I'll look to my left and be like, yeah, but that guy, I want to be like him. Yeah. Honestly,
You're fucked.
my ultimate goal is to have enough influence, and you're going to laugh at me or think I'm crazy, is
probably
to have enough influence in the world to make it a more positive place. And like,
Nothing wrong with that.
and honestly, that's my biggest love for The Rock is his positivity. Well, dude, he could be hiding people in his basement. I don't know. Like, he could be the weirdest guy in the world, but what he's perceived as in the media and on TV is a good-natured human being, and he's always trying to better people's lives or improve the world. And like, that's the proper way to use stardom, I
Right.
think.
Yeah, and
In
he's
comparison
great at it.
to everyone else that's being talked about in the media, he's using it in a positive way, and I'm like, that's the guy I want to be. Yeah.
You need a PR team.
Yeah.
I bet he's got a great PR team.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, he's probably a really good-hearted dude. Do you bug Hawkins about or Myers?
No.
Are you annoying?
No. I honestly,
Because he trained. I mean, he literally trained with
know.
The Rock.
I know. But I've asked him stories, and he's told me like how it's such a cool guy he is. But for me, it's just like deep down, I know I'll be eating dinner with that guy one day, and I'll say that to my wife all the time. I'm like, better practice that chicken because you're making for him one day.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you know what I mean? Though, like that's
I
just
do know because I saw your video, and I know how I saw your music video or your documentary.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I told you that was a weird one for me.
Yeah, I know.
It was.
Yeah.
Because-
I'm a weird person, but I think that like
And I'll give context. Is you had what's the dude's name? Because he's really good. That makes those AIW.
Oh,
music
Kenny
videos.
Johnson.
Ken Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's super
great.
good.
Oh, awesome.
And he makes this video, and everyone's super humble except you and Leo Rush. And it's like, and it's hard to be like, it's hard to be loved and not to be humble, I feel.
see for me, I'm a guy that makes one fan at a time
Sure.
at the table or in my performance. Like, I'm very personable and I'll take the time with everybody. But if someone's going to sit me down and say, what's your goals in 5 years? I'm not ashamed to say, this is what I'm going to do. And no one's going to tell me I'm not going to do it. Because I honestly think if you just put it out there, it's probably going to happen. And like, I've been super lucky in my life that I don't know. Things just always seem to work out. Like, I obviously have to go through some shit to get there. But eventually I feel like I reach goals that I set. So
I'm a big believer in like stuff will work itself out, but I'm also a big believer in like you just have to keep yourself in it.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like something will eventually happen.
Yeah.
And right, you're still stuff has worked out for what you're liking. And I remember you talking to me a couple years ago and you were just like, I don't know, where to go or how to break up a little bigger.
Yeah.
And like, whatever I told you in my head, I still know it's just like stick with it, be the best you can be, and shit will come.
Yeah.
I feel.
That's exactly like I needed that. You and I did the same conversation with Kevin Steen because like I find that I try and follow the same path of people that I can relate to, and I enjoy.
Christopher Daniels is always like, I always like put myself, like I always look at what age I was when he was something, or like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you do that.
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah, for 100%. And you guys are talkers and entertainers, and I'm like, what did they do to get to where they are? So I'll ask, like, hey man, like, what do I need to do, like, in this level that I'm at right now? And both of you guys just said, just keep doing what
But
you're
it
doing.
was super frustration on your part too.
Yes. Yeah, because obviously, like, a goal of mine was to, break out in a bigger company in America. And once I did that for a certain amount of time, what's next? I need the next thing. And, like, just being given a little bit by, like, let's Ring of Honor, or I'll get one Dragon Gate USA booking or one Evolve booking. I'm like, hey, man, why am I not full time? And I'm asking myself, I'm asking them. And, like, there's no answers to be made. No one's giving me, this is what you need to do. There was never that. So turn to you guys.
Right.
You just said, just keep doing what you're doing.
And
It worked out.
right.
Yeah, I'm loving life.
So what are you doing right now?
Full time with Evolve Wrestling.
Are you on one of these contract deals?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am. Yeah.
That was a big goal of yours, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is going to sound super cheesy. I wanted someone to see enough value in me and the way that I want professional wrestling to be seen to put me under a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they want me for all their shows and they need me. I was like, okay, that's my goal. So when I reached it, it was like kind of
But when
cool.
you say they need me, it sounds so. You could say it a better way. I feel.
Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. Totally. They see enough value in Ethan Page to want me full time for their event.
See, that's good enough,
And
I
make
think.
sure that I don't wrestle anywhere else.
There you go. That
Okay.
sounds much better. We might need
me.
That's
Oh, you're right. Okay, that came off weird.
right. We're learning lessons as we're doing it. And yeah, and that's like you did that. You guys, and you both did that. You and Josh did that in AIW. You did that in AAW.
Yep.
You started at the bottom. Right?
There you go.
That was the whitest thing I ever said.
Drake.
And yeah, Canadian.
Yep.
Right.
I thought that's what you were going for.
It was, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, I
okay.
didn't even know it was a Drake. To be honest, it's just a song in the ethos for me. But I feel that's always kind of been one of my trajectory, and Kevin's too. Like, you watch Kevin ROH come in, kind of then kicked out really,
Yep,
and then
yep.
come back in and start small and then fucking nail it.
Yeah.
Not so much in WWE. He just kind of walked right through the door. Didn't he?
No kidding.
But yeah. And then start at the bottom and work your way up, guy.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of evolved too, right?
Yeah, and like the thing too that I'm taking a lot of pride in is not changing what got me there. I honestly don't remember which person in wrestling gave me the advice, but I think I had a first dark match in Ring of Honor or something at the time, which I was like, this is the biggest thing ever. What do I need to do? And someone was like, hey man, just do exactly what you did yesterday, but here.
Right.
So I'm in Evolve. It's all grappling guys, and like it's a technical wrestling show, but I'm going to be the entertainer.
Right.
I've really pushed myself to not try and change because of my environment. So
That's how I stood out in Ring of Honor, like, originally.
Yep.
You know, it's the same exact way, to be honest, as all those guys. It's kind of funny, 10 years, more than 10, 14 years later, like, wrestling, it was all grappling guys.
Yep.
It went away from that, and now it's back to that, huh?
Yep.
It's all in a cycle.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is just be different. You got to stand out from
exactly.
everybody.
And you know what? Some people might not like it, but I know there will be one person that's like, I'm into that. And I hope that that's the person I'm entertaining.
I'm watching a whole show of vanilla and there's one chocolate thing, right? Or there's one thing that stands out. So they don't even have a choice they have to remember you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're the only thing, not the only thing memorable, because there's probably some great shit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And that's exactly it. And I was like, okay, everyone is really focused on their professional wrestling. I'm going to have the best promo on their YouTube page.
Are you super in your head now with like this evolved WWE relationship now?
No,
Do you see it as a competition almost? Like,
No,
because you know
not at
people are
all.
going to get snatched up from this stuff.
Not at all. It's not a competition for me at all, in a sense of I want to get there before everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that's there totally deserves to be there. So I'm just like, hey man, if this guy leaves, there's more opportunity and money for Ethan Page to like succeed with. So I will just fill that position. Like, I love when guys get signed on the indies. Love it.
Right.
Someone needs to fill that void, and I'm like, all right, man, I'm ready. Like,
Right.
I'm next. You know what I mean? So I don't mind at all. It's just
But
a
obviously,
vicious cycle.
your head is WWE
Ultimate
champion.
goal, yes.
Right. And there's not a little bit of like, I need to step up a little more. There's a little more eyes on me, maybe.
That's the exact reason why I've been trying to get in better shape.
So there
For
it is
sure.
in your.
That was the deciding factor of I'm going to pay someone to cook my meals every single week, and they're going to be in my fridge, and I will have no choice. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So it's a super investment then.
Yeah.
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 Which is smart. That's the. I mean, it's. What a opportunity has come to you.
Exactly.
through all the battle, like through everything. Now this weird thing is kind
Landed.
of right.
Well, because the thing too was Josh and I were like heavy trying to get in with Ring of Honor, and when that fell through, I hit like a rock bottom. I was like, wow.
Pun intended.
I like that.
Literally on your wife in the living room.
Yeah.
You're like, honey, I love him so much.
Yeah.
He's just the greatest.
And I was like, oh man, this sucks. I really thought this was going to be like our break on the indies and we're going to be signed by Ring of Honor. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. And then it was just like, nope, we don't see enough value in you guys. So I was like, oh, this really sucks.
We don't need you.
We don't need you. And then when everything happened with Gabe, I was like, this is great. I'm loving this. And then just magically ended up having this relationship with WWE. Like, it wasn't even a thing when I signed the contract with Evolve. And then now I was like, wow, how did that happen? That I just ended up here.
And it's great. And there's so much great talent there
Yep.
that now can get some, just whatever eyes or whatever it might be, or a little bit more of a spotlight with this tournament coming up, for a lot of those guys, and it's great.
Well, they just hit Baltimore a couple weeks ago as like a new market for them, and the place was jammed, like
Great.
sold out.
That's great.
And I remember there was Evolve shows when there was 17 people.
So, really?
Yeah. So like now they're going into new places and they're selling out just from this added exposure to the product, which
Right.
is awesome. So thank you, WWE, and I'm loving it.
It shows there. Someone else had said that like, why are the indies spiking? And some people said because of NXT a little bit.
For sure.
Because obviously people are like, yeah, this is where these guys come from. They don't suck. They're like, there's a lot of real good gems. Just go watch a show, and in 2 years, these will be the guys that you'll be going gaga for.
Yep.
Go walk up and get an autograph.
Oh yeah, like even our shows in Hamilton, Alpha One, it's like not only are more people coming, more people who are vocal and love wrestling are finding these events. And I'm like, it's
Right.
great for us. Like,
Yeah.
so great. Like, better shows, these better matches, and better crowds.
And I was around for the Attitude Era indie wrestling, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
People were like, wrestling. I love wrestling. It's not
Exactly.
coming here every week, so I'll
Make
try
sure
to
I
find
don't
it
miss
around me. Yeah. And there was times where like Val Venus would be on. There was times in the Attitude Era where those guys were on shows where WWE was booking them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like they would come and like they'd be on these shows with us.
Would that be like Johnny Gargano?
I guess it would be.
Tommaso
Yeah. It's
Ciampa?
kind of fuck, man.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. I don't even think about it because they're just my buddies. But like,
Yeah.
wild. Yeah, it is wild. Fucking hell. And they're benefiting, and they deserve it. So great. Where are you at on the internet, bud?
My Twitter is @officialego, and that's pretty much all I really use.
You're no Instagram, no.
Oh yeah,
Facebook?
Instagram is official_ego.
And your Alpha One shows.
Yes, alpha-1wrestling.com, and they're in Hamilton, Ontario.
Yeah. I did a live podcast from there. That's in the feed. You were
Yeah.
on it.
That was
And
awesome.
Hopefully, we'll do some more of those. I'll make a once-a-year trip up there, right?
Yeah, heck yeah.
That seems like the
Every time I try and get you to come, you're like, oh man, I'm busy.
I know.
Yeah, that's not a good bad problem to have,
That's
though.
not, I lead a busy life.
I'll plug our podcast. I
Please.
guess. It's called The Meaning of Mature, and themeaningofmature.com, or just iTunes.
On iTunes.
Yeah.
Subscribe. Give it a shot. Is there one that you recommend? A starter app?
The last two we did with Michael Elgin are just ridiculous.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Did you get everything? I played it a little safe with Elgin. I think he was getting married at the time.
No, we did not play it safe.
You hear it all.
We were just like, we know Mike. We grew up with Mike. Let's get Mike to talk a bunch of trash.
You know how to bait him into it almost.
Yeah.
So some Elgin episodes.
We got 2 full episodes out of him, and they're like, he's a rambunctious guy. And
He's something else.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
They're great. Yeah,
Maybe
they're fun.
Maybe I'll give that a listen. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, follow the man's career. Do yourself a favor. can usually be seen at AIW in Cleveland, amongst many, many other places. I know Evolve, but let's be honest, AIW Wrestling in Cleveland, ran by John Thorne and Chandler Biggins, who have a podcast, by the way. Listen to that podcast. The card is going to change. That's what it's called. An independent promoters podcast. But let's not give all the airtime to AIW right now. This was Ethan's show. And he's got a podcast too. Listen to them all. Listen to this one. Get it in your head. And then after this one, you download this one, then you can listen to whatever you want, all right? That's the rule from me to you. I'll allow it. But you know the deal. Every Thursday morning, you're listening to this guy. All right, before we get out of here, let's get into some plugs and
Upcoming events.
All right, the best way you can support ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com, Twitter and Instagram at Colt Cabana, Facebook /AOW Podcast, also /Colt Cabana. Grab those past archives, howl.fm, use the code COLT, get a free month. ColtWrestling@gmail.com, my very public email. Maybe you got something to say to me. Maybe you're a promoter, want to put me on your upcoming show or convention. I got a YouTube channel, worst promo ever's on there, a lot of fun stuff. ColtCabana.com is my website. I got a P.O. box there, you can send me something fun. Upcoming Saturday, July 16th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, ROHWrestling.com. Sunday, July 17th, Toronto, Canada, DestinyWorldWrestling.com. Friday, July 21st, Thornville, Ohio, JuggaloGathering.com. Saturday, July 22nd, Marionette Park, Illinois, AAWrestling.com. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, July 29th through the 31st, London, England, London Film and Comic-Con.com. August 1st and 2nd, PerfectStrangersComedy.co.uk. All of August, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. 10:45 show at the Pleasance Dome, pleasance.co.uk for tickets to that show. And then I'm also doing some wrestling while I'm there. August 6th in Livingston, reckless-intent.com. The 13th in Edinburgh, shop.discovery.wrestling.com. The 21st in Newcastle, Facebook /Absolute Wrestling. The 26th in Kilmarnock, bcw-wrestling.com. 27th in Dundee, Facebook /SWE Online. 28th in Glasgow, insanewrestling.com. That is the show for this week. Big thank you to you guys at home for listening and telling your friends. I really appreciate it. Thanks to Ethan Page. Thanks to Cable Guy Jeff and Stu Stone, Kid Russell, and Matt Jenkins on the music, Dane Miller with the tech. Got some sponsors to thank. Highspots.com. Hundreds of full-length titles available to download. A VOD service, a subscription box service, wrestling ring, wrestling gear, wrestling pads, and wrestling masks, and so much more. OneHourTees.com. They help run ProWrestlingTees.com. It's the best way that you could support any uncontracted wrestlers and a couple contracted things going on over there. Shipping the royalties back to the performers. That's what we're doing over there. And tweakedaudio.com/Colt. The earbuds that I use get over 30% off and free shipping just because you listen to this show. And that is the show for this week. I'm going to get out of here. I can hear people talking outside. Always in my head, of course, that they are hearing exactly what I'm saying because I can hear what they're saying. So I went to the porn convention. Guys and girls, I went to the porn convention. I knew the people that were there. I didn't know their names, but I knew their faces and their body parts. And I became a fan of Tiny Ebony. How could I not become a fan of Tiny Ebony? She's tiny and ebony. And those are two things that I like in my adult actresses. I didn't buy anything. There was nothing like, I brought some cash in my pocket, but like nothing was like, oh, I need this, you know? Step up your game, people in your erotic booths. Step up your game. I'm a willing customer, just nothing that I was into. Maybe next year. What kind of show am I running? Gross. Time for me to end this podcast. This has been The Art of Wrestling. For Colt Cabana, I'm Colt Cabana. Thanks.